Calling State of Wisconsin versus Darrell E. Brooks, case number 21 CF 1848. May I have the appearances, please?
Morning, Judge Sue Daisy and Zach Waukesha appearing for the state.
Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value in return for value all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments.
Right, the record should reflect that the individual known to this court as the defendant, Darrell Brooks, is present in court. He's in custody, but he is wearing street clothes. He's wearing a suit and tie and a mask. And good morning once again to everyone.
Also for the record, I do not identify by that name or consent to being called that name.
So noted. All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have a 13th subpoena? As we discussed yesterday, you wanted to call 13 witnesses. I told you you had until this morning to fill out another subpoena and give it to the state so that they could review it.
Yes, I do.
All right, can you hand that to the bailiff, please? I'll just take a look at it quick. Mr. Brooks, I'm reviewing this for completeness, and you have simply put on here State of Wisconsin plaintiff. That's an entity. You have to name a person, sir. The date. Well, the date we would fill in. So I'll have it shown to the state, and they can let me know their position on that.
Any legal basis why that would not be accepted, Your Honor?
You have to have a person named, sir, so that they can come and testify. You only have an entity named.
Is it not true that under the Sixth Amendment I have the right to face my accuser?
Mr. Brooks, let me hear from the state.
Yes, Your Honor, I agree with the court's assessment. The subpoena does not state a person. The subpoena form specifically indicates that the person requesting the subpoena is to indicate the witness's name and address. Mr. Brooks has simply written the word State of Wisconsin plaintiff for the witness name. The State of Wisconsin is an entity. It's not a person. The State of Wisconsin cannot testify at these proceedings, so the subpoena should be rejected, Your Honor.
Your Honor, on the grounds that every document that was filed in this matter stated that the State of Wisconsin was the plaintiff, which would lead me to believe that the State of Wisconsin is who's bringing the claim against my client. How could they not be subpoenaed to testify if they're the plaintiff? And under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to face my accuser. My accuser in this matter is the plaintiff, which is the State of Wisconsin.
I'm not going to require the State of Wisconsin to testify in this case because they are an entity and you have not named a person.
Are they not? Or are they not the plaintiff, Your Honor?
They are the plaintiff in this case, sir.
And why are they not able to testify, being that they...
Sir, you've named an entity, not a person. I believe that your Sixth Amendment rights have been complied with.
Not if I'm not allowed to face my accuser, Your Honor. My accuser in this matter would be the State of Wisconsin. And with all due respect...
Sir, I believe your Sixth Amendment rights in that regard have been complied with.
I'm requesting a written judicial finding of fact and conclusion of law on this issue for the grounds that I just stated. It was seen, based on the Sixth Amendment, that I'm not being awarded the chance to face my accuser, which I should be awarded that based on the Sixth Amendment. If I'm not able to face my accuser, then how can the claim even stand? How can a claim be brought against my client if I'm not able to face the accuser?
I'm not going to explain any further why you can't call the state of Wisconsin in the way that you've subpoenaed them or attempted to subpoena them for the reasons I've already stated.
I state for the record,
And I'm
Your
also,
Honor.
hold on, I'm also not going to issue a written decision on that. The record speaks for itself.
May I state for the record, Your Honor, that I have not even seen a complaint in this matter, and the jurisdiction still has yet to be proven, which is another thing that needs to be challenged. There has not been proven that there's subject matter jurisdiction as of yet. There's no verified proof of it. There's no verified proof of even a claim, especially if I'm not allowed to face my accuser. And I don't understand how you can make that judicial decision, Your Honor, when it's clear discrepancies in the paperwork of this matter. Like I said, I have yet to see jurisdiction be proven. It has not been proven. I have yet to see a complaint. I have not seen that.
Your objections are noted. We will continue today with the jury trial.
For the record, may I respectfully move for interlocutory declaratory appeal on this matter, Your Honor?
Your request is noted for the record. I'm not an appellate court, sir.
For the record, may I move to stay these proceedings until this instant matter is adjudicated by a court of competent jurisdiction?
Your request is denied.
Based on what law or fact, Your Honor?
I've previously addressed the issue, sir,
So
based
you're
on
making-
law of the case.
Are you making a judicial determination that I'm not awarded my Sixth Amendment right to face my accuser?
I'm not making any such determination here today. All right.
What law or fact?
I'm going to turn to the district attorney's office. Do you have a witness available?
Yes, we're ready to proceed, Your Honor.
All right, our jurors here. All right, the jurors will be brought out, sir.
Your Honor, with all due respect for the record, you're avoiding my questions.
Mr. Brooks, I've addressed the issues that need to be addressed this morning. I've also addressed the same issues probably every day we've been in court. I know you may be dissatisfied with the response that I'm providing to you, but my responses stand.
It's not a dissatisfaction, Your Honor. It's a lack of understanding, which I don't have. I don't even understand the true nature and cause of the charges. And
Mr.
without,
Brooks, you've been made aware of them multiple times.
I do not understand them, is what I'm saying.
I encourage you once again, if you don't understand anything, to seek the advice of an attorney. I cannot give you legal advice.
I'm not asking for that, Your Honor. I'm really asking why are my constitutional rights being prejudiced? It states under the Sixth Amendment that I have the
Sir,
right.
I've already addressed this. Okay? We're not going to have any further argument on this topic. All right? Your Sixth Amendment rights are being honored no differently than any other defendant that has appeared in my court.
Have any other defendant not been awarded the opportunity to face their accuser?
You are facing your accuser, sir. Every single witness who's been on this stand, you have cross-examined.
None of those witnesses are making a claim. None of those witnesses are the plaintiff. None of those witnesses are identified as the injured party. An injured party has to make the claim, Your Honor. A
Sir,
living.
it's my opinion that your belief as it relates to that is mistaken. I've directed your attention once again to the Beneby decision.
Is that not a federal case, a United States?
You're asking me for legal advice. I'm not going to provide that to you, sir.
I'm just asking what kind of case it was. Was it federal Supreme Court
It's a Seventh
case?
Circuit Court of Appeals case. We're in the Seventh Circuit, sir.
But you just stated that you're not a court of appeals. But you're citing a court of
No, but
appeals
Court of
case.
Appeals case law applies to this court, sir. I'm bound by legal precedent from the various courts that are above me.
And you're still not explaining how I'm not able to face my accuser, which is my Sixth Amendment constitutional right.
Sir, I'm not going to explain the law to you. I've made my decision. It stands.
I'm just merely
Do I have the
stating
jurors?
for the record.
Yeah, I heard the door. Okay, thank you.
I'm merely stating for the record that I should be awarded my Sixth Amendment right to face my
Your
accuser.
objection is noted, sir, once again. We'll continue this morning. Thank you.
None of the witnesses that testify are the accuser. None of the witnesses that testify are the injured party, which a claim has to be made by a living, breathing human being.
Sir, I
which
think you're
has not.
confusing civil law with criminal law. That's what
No,
I'm
I'm
saying. on that.
confusing. I'm not confusing any law. The Constitution says that I have the right to face my accuser, and under the Sixth Amendment, I'm not being awarded that constitutional right. I think that definitely needs to be on record, and that definitely is an issue that needs
Your
to be
objection is
raised.
noted, sir. If you believe I've erred in that regard, you can raise that issue on appeal if you are convicted.
May I put Your Honor on notice that I intend to appeal that decision?
Your statement's noted for the record.
Is that a judicial determination I will not be able to face my accuser, Your Honor?
I have not made any such determination, sir.
Will you be making a judicial determination?
Sir, I have not made any kind of determination that your Sixth Amendment rights have been violated. On the contrary, I believe this court has honored those rights.
Even with me not being able to face my accuser, which is the state of
Your
Wisconsin, the
position
plaintiff.
is noted, sir.
Is
It's
that a
noted for the
judicial?
record. I've already addressed it.
Is that a judicial determination?
Sir, the record speaks for itself.
Is that a judicial determination?
All right, I believe the jurors are coming out. All rise, please.
Are you going to answer that, Your Honor, or is
No.
that a tacit agreement?
I'm not going to answer that further. I've answered it multiple times.
Is it a tacit agreement?
It is not.
Then I should be awarded my Sixth Amendment right to face my accuser, or a judicial determination should be made.
Record to reflect that the jurors are coming in for the morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
The record shall also reflect that I received no answer to that question.
Did you have a coworker by the name of Jane Kulik?
Yes, I did.
And did Jane agree to participate in the parade on November 21 of 21?
She did.
Were you there?
Yes, I was.
Move to admit and permission to publish number 47, please.
Exhibit 47 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Objection.
So, Ms. Bonesteel, the screen in front of you is a touch screen. Could you just circle or mark with an X where Jane is in this picture? Now, did there come a point in time when you were marching in the parade when something awful happened?
Objection.
Overruled. She may answer.
What do you remember next?
There's a lot of crowd noise, but something made me look and think, what was that?
Okay, something unique, something that wasn't right.
Correct.
Overruled. Her answer may stand.
I could see the truck. I believe it was a larger black truck that was part of the dance team's unit.
Okay.
I saw that, and to the right of that is where I saw this other set of headlights.
Did the headlights get closer to you?
The headlights were coming basically straight at me.
Were you able to get a description of this vehicle with the headlights driving in your direction?
As it passed, I realized it was an SUV.
Do you remember the color?
I do not.
Okay. You remember it was an SUV.
Yes.
Did the SUV then pass around your husband's truck on the driver's side?
Yes.
Overruled. Her answer may stand. Mr. Brooks, any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. For the record, I don't consent to that name. You said that you saw headlights from the vehicle that was approaching. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you You also testified that the vehicle came 3 to 5 feet from you. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Would you say that's pretty close?
Yes, I would.
And you also said you weren't able to identify the color of the vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
So my question would be, with the vehicle being that close, how were you not able to identify the color of the vehicle?
Objection, argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Were you able to see a license plate from the vehicle?
I'm sure I would be able to see, but in a state of fear and panic, I wasn't able to register what it was.
So would it be fair to say that because of that same reason is why you wouldn't be able to identify the color of the vehicle?
Correct.
And you testified that you did not see the driver. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall giving any police report or being interviewed by any law enforcement?
Yes.
Do you recall if that was the same day of the incident or in the days following?
I gave my statement to a police detective on Friday of that same week, the day after Thanksgiving.
So that would be around the 26th of 2021, November the 26th of 2021. Would that be fair to say?
I believe yes, it would be November 26th.
Do you recall why it would take almost a week to be interviewed or to make a report?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative, beyond the scope of the witness's
Grounds.
knowledge.
Grounds.
Also calls for speculation on the part of the witness. It's sustained.
You stated that you don't recall seeing the path of the traveling vehicle after it had passed you. Would that be fair to say?
I did not see the vehicle once it had traveled beyond my husband's vehicle.
Did you see it strike anyone at that point?
I saw it strike a person when it was parallel next to my husband's vehicle.
Did you see it strike anyone after that point?
No, I could not see the vehicle past that point.
Did you see the vehicle strike anyone before it got to the location that you were at?
No, I did not.
Do you recall reading or seeing a complaint in this matter in any way?
Objection,
Grounds.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, have you filed any claims in this matter?
No, I have not.
Would you consider yourself to be a party to this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
relevant.
Sustained.
Were you aware that it might be a possibility that you would be called to testify in this matter?
Yes, I did.
Were you in fact subpoenaed by anyone to testify in this matter?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall by whom?
By the state of Wisconsin.
And when you say the state of Wisconsin, who do you refer to?
Objection, argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you had any interactions with the state of Wisconsin?
Objection.
Grounds.
It's vague. Sustained. You may rephrase if you so choose.
Did you have any phone conversations or any physical conversations with the state of Wisconsin?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you even know the state of Wisconsin?
Objection.
Grounds.
Argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained.
It would be fair to say, based on your testimony, that you were in fact called to testify by the state of Wisconsin.
Objection asked and answered.
Grounds. I didn't even finish the question. Now the grounds on that.
Finish your question and then I'll rule.
Seeing as how that you were called to testify by the state of Wisconsin, it would be fair to say that you've actually saw the state of Wisconsin.
Objection.
Grounds.
It's vague.
Grounds.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, would the state of Wisconsin be the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Now the grounds for the sustain.
Sustained.
Your Honor, with all due respect, the jury needs to know
question.
this. They deserve to know this.
Next question.
Are you aware that, to the best of your knowledge, are you aware that for a case there has to be an injured party?
Objection.
Grounds.
Irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
As you said, the state of Wisconsin called you to testify. Did they at any time identify themselves as an injured party in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Argumentative.
Grounds.
Irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Continue, Mr. Brooks.
Any reason for the sustain?
It's sustained.
May I have the grounds, Your Honor?
Keep going, Mr. Brooks.
This is information that the jury deserves to know, Your Honor.
The jury is the judge of the facts only, and the court is the judge of the law.
Were you participating in the Waukesha Christmas parade that afternoon, sir?
Yes.
And what was your role in the parade?
I was driving the float for Citizens Bank.
And your wife Stephanie works for the bank, is that right?
Yes. I was driving a Suburban pulling the trailer.
Okay. So you have a full-size Chevy Suburban,
Yes.
which is like a large SUV,
2019.
full-size SUV?
Yes.
Okay.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
And the float was on a trailer behind you?
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember during the parade something unusual that your attention was drawn toward?
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Along the route,
Yes.
yes. I generally, want to know where my walkers are, so I'm always in my mirrors, watching my speed. They come up, they grab candy off the trailer to throw to the crowd. So, you have to be very alert.
Okay. Now, you've driven in parades before.
Yes.
Because you're a good husband.
Yes.
Okay. And
Overruled.
the,
Stand. Go ahead.
thank you, Your Honor.
I heard the roar of an engine, and I was watching in my side mirror and saw a woman running kind of towards the corner of my vehicle, the back corner, in between, like, let's say by the tongue of the trailer, and we're trying to get to that point of my vehicle,
Okay.
and then saw the impact and heard it, as well as the roar of an engine.
You see a person running. Did you know who it was at that instant?
No.
Okay.
I had no idea who the person was.
Could you tell it was a member of your group?
Yes.
How could you tell that?
They had the red cloaks on.
Okay. So then you said you heard something?
Oh, yeah, you heard. I heard and saw the impact.
Tell us about
If you
that,
ever
please.
heard a car hit another car, or an abutment, or a deer, if anybody's ever hit a deer with their car, you've heard it. I watched the body fly up onto the hood, and her head snapped back, and the body remained on the hood as it passed the side of my vehicle, to where I thought I could have just reached out and grabbed her.
So this happened that close to you.
Yes.
You saw all this with your own two eyes.
Yes.
Did the car continue past you?
Yes.
Where did it go?
The car veered kind of in front of me. I saw brake lights and saw what was Jane fall off the hood. He proceeded to, and she was basically on the right side of his vehicle, and he proceeded to run her over with the right front tire, then the right rear tire. And at that point, I was just focused on the body on the ground, but I remember hearing the roar of the engine again. And
How fast were you going?
2 miles an hour.
How fast would you estimate the other vehicle was going?
30.
Did you get a description of that other car?
It was red,
That's all you know?
like a box type back end. That's all I know. That's all. I thought my wife was the woman on the car. So you see your whole life going by you, you know, in what you think is an act of terror because you don't know what's going on. And then a body's laying on the ground. And at that point, that was my only focus. My vehicle, I threw it in park and ran to decipher if this was really who I think it is.
Okay.
Details of which direction the vehicle went after that, I cannot tell you. I'm sorry. It was tunnel vision right to the ground.
Of course. You do distinctly remember, though, seeing the red vehicle that you've described roll over the person on the ground?
Yes.
With both tires?
Yes.
Let's show you an item that's been marked as Exhibit 46, please. And we're going to put it up for you first and have you take a look at it. It's a total length of 15 seconds, okay?
Yes.
I want you to watch it, and then I'll have some questions for you, okay? That was a full 15 seconds? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Bonesteel, did you see yourself in that video?
Yes, I did.
Do you believe this video is a true and accurate representation of the events as you ran up to Jane on the
Yes.
street? Move to admit 46 and permission to publish, Your Honor.
Objection.
Exhibit 46 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
My objection be noted for the record, Your Honor.
It's noted.
We're going to go ahead and play it all the way through 15 seconds at normal speed. That's you right there at the end. Sunglasses on your head? Okay.
Was that a yes?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you, sir.
Did you learn later that Jane passed away due to her injuries from this collision?
We did learn that later. My gut feeling in that was that she had passed.
You mean when you went up and saw her?
Yes.
You felt she was either dead or close to death?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions for you.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do. Whew. I apologize. I just needed a quick second. Put it together. At some point in your testimony, you stated that you heard, or rather you saw brake lights. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I did.
To the best of your knowledge, what would be the only time you would see brake lights on a vehicle?
The point right before Jane fell off the hood.
I think you misunderstood my question. If you were driving the vehicle, would it be fair to say that the only time anyone would see brake lights would be if you hit the brake?
If the driver hit the brakes, the brake lights would go on the vehicle.
So it would be fair to say that the only way that you would see brake lights would be if the driver of the vehicle hit the brakes.
That would be correct.
You did testify to when you were describing what you saw, you referred to the driver as he. Any reason why you would refer to the driver as he if you did not see the driver of the vehicle?
That would be like the proverbial we.
Well, there's males, there's females.
There are singles and there are togethers. I mean, when you say we, it's the proverbial we.
So
Collectively, he would be along those lines as well.
is it fair to say that you could have just answered as we instead of he?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question, sir.
Matter grounds on that?
It's argumentative. Rephrase your question.
Any reason why you would answer that question as he?
Objection. Irrelevant. Argumentative.
Grounds.
Asked and answered. Sustained.
Were you able to get a license plate of the vehicle?
No, I was not. I was focused, like I had said, on the body on the ground. So I did not get the license plate.
After the vehicle had passed the vehicle that you were in, did you see the vehicle strike anyone after that point?
I did not see the vehicle strike anyone after the vehicle had passed me, other than driving over, like I had stated, the body that it had already struck.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone while it was approaching your position?
Clarify your question, please.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone while it was approaching your position?
Yes, I saw it hit Jane.
While it was approaching you?
While it was coming
Or
up.
your vehicle, rather?
Yes.
You recall about what time it was at that moment?
No. These are thoughts that you don't think about when you've been through something like this. I didn't sit there and note down times.
Do you recall if it was still daytime or nighttime at the
Well, the parade started around 4:30, so it gets, and it was cloudy, so it was dusk. I mean, city lights were on. Emergencies vehicles, when they were pulling up, you saw the sirens, on the streets. You saw it was dusk. It was getting dark.
Would it be fair to say from the Exhibit 46 video that you were shown that it was pretty clear?
Again, wasn't focusing on the sky.
Do you agree or disagree? The video or that you saw was clear. That was the question.
The video, the clarity of the video, or the skies? Please clarify
that
your
it
question.
was pretty much still daytime. You can see everything pretty clear. Everything was.
You can see, yes, it was clear. It was dusk. Lights were coming on. If the city lights, street lights were coming on.
Would it be fair to say you can recall lights coming on, but not the driver of the vehicle?
I think that's asked and answered, Your Honor.
Objection. Grounds.
Overruled. He may answer.
I can remember lights coming on because they are stationary. The vehicle was traveling past me at a rate of speed with a woman that I thought was my wife on the vehicle. Was not really paying attention to who was driving the vehicle. Again,
So would it be fair to say you were paying attention to the lights?
no.
So what would lead you to believe that they were in fact coming on at that time?
Objection. Argument
Grounds.
asked and answered.
The video that I...
Hold on. There's an objection. I have to rule on it first. That's okay. The objection is sustained. Next question, sir.
Do you recall the duration of time that you saw the brake lights?
No, I do not.
But you did in fact see brake lights.
Correct.
Sir, after you saw brake lights, did you see the SUV or the red vehicle that you described ever come to a complete stop?
No.
Did you?
There's been an objection. It's overruled. His answer may stand.
Did you at any time see the driver of the vehicle pull over, stop, and get out to investigate what he or she had just struck?
Objection.
Overruled.
No.
Did you ever see the vehicle come to a complete stop at any time?
Objection asked and answered.
Does that accurately depict the corner that you were at to watch the Christmas parade?
It does.
I would ask the court to admit it into evidence and to publish it to the jury.
Objection. What is the relevancy of this particular exhibit?
Overruled.
Pretty much this whole corner. I saw a red SUV from the north side, right for that corner where our children were, so it was kind of coming dead on at us. And then at the last second, kind of clipped that corner and then veered off, and I saw it continue on into the Dancing Grannies group. I distinctly remember seeing two victims laying in the street, and then I looked up the other way where it had come, and I saw a woman with plaid pajamas lying in the street up the road, and that's when I grabbed my daughter and grabbed her to pull her back.
Sir, how old are the children, your children that were at the parade?
Objection.
Overruled.
My children at the time was 7, and my youngest was 3. My 7-year-old daughter had her foot ran over, her left foot, broke 4 toes, and also her tibia and fibula in her leg. And then there was another friend of ours, younger daughter, who was next to her. I believe she got sideswiped from the vehicle.
Your 7-year-old, what is her name?
Brinley.
After the car drove over her foot, did she still have her shoe on?
We lost one eventually, and then the other one, we found one.
Were you able to look at specifically the left shoe after the car went past?
I was.
Overruled. You may answer.
I did see the shoe later on. I recall seeing a tread mark across her shoes.
Circle the orange star that's associated with where your daughter was struck. Thank you. And the approximate location that you observed the woman to your left?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
Before, so we can capture it, can you again circle the area where you and your family were?
Objection already.
Overruled. He may do it again since it was cleared before we captured it.
Okay. And then to your right. Okay. Where you marked the circle to your left, that was associated with the same place where there's a name Jane Kulik?
Yes.
Overruled.
And where you circled to the right, there are 7 different names under Dancing Grannies. Is that fair?
Objection. Leaving the
Overruled. You may
witness.
answer.
Yes.
Obvious.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part that you said, Mr. Brooks. Are you withdrawing that?
No, I'm not.
What did you say then?
I said it's pretty obvious from the picture. It's leading the witness.
All right, your objections noted. It's overruled. His answers may stand.
Thank you. Do you see yourself depicted in this video?
I do.
Do you believe it accurately represents what you observed that day and what you did?
I do.
Okay. I would ask that Exhibit 49 be admitted into evidence and published to the jury.
For the record, how long is the video clip?
It is 8 seconds.
All right, thank you. Exhibit 49 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Thank you.
Noted for the record, Your Honor.
It is.
Thank you. And you stated that you did see yourself in that video?
I did.
So as you're looking at this, would it be, as you're looking at the screen, to the left?
Sustained is to the form of the question, if you would please rephrase.
Where would you and your family have been in relationship to this, where this video was taken?
To the left.
Okay. And the person taking the video, are they on the same side of the street as you are or a different side?
Objection.
Overruled. You
Looks
may
to be
answer.
the same side as our street.
Sir, is that the red SUV that you previously described as striking your daughter?
It is.
Just 1 second. You stated earlier that you saw the vehicle clip the corner. Would that be fair to say?
I saw it clip the corner where the children were standing, correct?
And what do you mean by clip?
Come into contact with children that were in the front of that group of kids.
Is that how you would define clip?
That's my definition of clip, correct?
You stated also that it veered quickly away from, I'm guessing, that corner. What do you mean by veered quickly away?
The vehicle at one point was coming straight at us, and then the next moment it was heading 45 degrees back on the original route, so it quickly turned to get back onto the street. Otherwise it would have come onto the corner, onto that intersection at Clinton Street.
So it's fair to say if the vehicle did not quickly veer, as you say, it would have ran right into the people on the corner.
That's a fair statement, yes.
Is it also a fair statement to assume that the vehicle veered quickly away from that because it didn't want to strike the people on the corner? Grounds.
Speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Calls for speculation on the part of this witness. You do not have to answer.
In your opinion, why would the vehicle have quickly veered?
Objection again.
Grounds.
Speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Calls for speculation.
If you were driving the vehicle and were able at any time to see people directly in your path, would you veer away?
Objection. Relevance for this
Grounds.
trial.
Sustained.
And I had the grounds for the sustain?
It's not relevant for this witness to answer that question. Calls for a hypothetical that he has not been qualified to answer.
Did you get a license plate number of the vehicle?
No.
You see any tents on the vehicle that you recall?
No, I was not paying attention to the vehicle after it came down barreling at the children. My eyes, tunnel vision to the kids.
So it'd be fair to say that with you focusing on the kids, it would be difficult to describe the vehicle at that point.
Outside of it obviously being a red SUV in my mind as I saw it come down, I couldn't recall any other details about the vehicle.
So it'd be fair to say the only thing you can recall about the vehicle was the color of it.
that it was a red SUV, a larger vehicle.
So the color of it.
Correct.
You stated that you initially waited before you seek medical attention. Any reason why you would wait?
I walked through the variables earlier. The hospital was on lockdown. I'm familiar with hospital operations enough to know that the acuity for my daughter didn't warrant me taking resources from other victims. My wife's a provider, an urgent care nurse practitioner.
You stated you did the father thing, as you put it, and downplayed the significance of the injury. Any reason why you would downplay it?
I think my initial reaction was a little confusion of what was going on, and not seeing any bones sticking out or any blood. I immediately went into this sort of "you're okay," meaning compared to everything else I'm seeing around us, you're in an okay position right now. I don't know if it was downplaying the injury per se, but it was more of just a triaging in my own mind of going, it's not that, it's okay.
It would be fair to say that the language you used was you downplayed the injury. Would
Correct.
that be fair to say?
Yep, that's correct.
Before the vehicle approached, did you observe anyone being struck?
Yes.
You also stated that at one point, after you were observing the path of travel of the vehicle, that it felt like it was straightening up into the middle of the parade route. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
What do you mean by it felt that way?
Maybe in an incorrect term on my part. My recollection of the memory was that when it veered off, it went on and continued down the middle of Main Street.
So would it be fair to say that you really don't recall?
I certainly recall the vehicle heading back down Main Street, down the middle of Main Street.
I'm referring to you saying that it, what it felt like, as opposed to what you recall it doing.
I used the incorrect term there. When I said felt, it was more of the word choice of recall I should have used.
And you stated that you would estimate the speed of the vehicle to be about 25 miles an hour?
I said 25 to 30 miles per hour.
So somewhere in between that.
Correct.
And you also stated that it was the vehicle was about 30 feet away from you?
When I first initially saw the video, the vehicle was 30 feet away. It was just on the other side of the vehicle, the large suburban vehicle.
So how could you come to the determination of the speed?
Because it was barreling right at us. So as it came around the vehicle, started coming towards us, it felt like 25 to 30 miles per hour, and then as it veered off, no brake lights, just veered off and continued right down Main Street at that rate of speed.
So it felt like that was the speed. Is the term you just used again, felt. It felt like it was going that speed.
So I'm using the term felt, and I am defining that as sort of a mental recollection or a gut feel. I'm not trained in assessing speed, so my gut feel, what I felt at that time driving that street numerous times, is that it was going 25 to 30 miles per hour.
So would it be fair to say, based on what you just said, that you're not trained in speed analyzation, that would it be fair? Would it be fair to say that you don't know exactly the speed of the vehicle?
Objection.
Grounds.
Answered.
That's based on what he
Hold
said.
on, you asked multiple questions, so I'm going off of the very last question that you asked. And that is, would it be fair to say that you don't know the speed of the vehicle? To that question, the objection is overruled and the witness may answer.
Yes, without looking at a speedometer, I would have no way of knowing exactly how fast that vehicle was going.
Have you read or seen any complaint in this matter?
Objection made.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you or your wife filed any claims in this matter?
Which claim, defined claims?
Referring to being an injured party or anything of that nature?
We submitted a claim with the DA's office, I believe, for potential medical reimbursement
So that would be in regards to the medical bills.
for my daughter, correct?
So would it be fair to say that you have a financial interest in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Relevance.
Grounds?
Sustained.
Would you consider yourself to be an injured party in this matter?
Me personally, no. Not physically.
So you weren't injured in any way in this?
Not physically injured, no.
Are you aware of the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds?
Sustained.
Ever had any contact with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Vague. Sustained.
Ever had any phone conversations or personal interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Again, with regard to the nature of the question, it's vague.
Sustained.
I don't believe that's vague, Your Honor. I asked specifically if there were any phone conversations or personal interactions. I don't think that's vague. I think that's pretty clear.
Sustained.
And I also believe the jury deserves to know if there is a plaintiff in this matter.
Your objection's noted. It's to that particular statement. Your statement is noted. To the objection from the state, it is sustained. Next question, please.
Are you aware if there even is a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained.
May I have the grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
Relevant.
I would object and say that it's very relevant. Again, citing
Your
that.
objection is noted. Next question, please.
Were you ever contacted by anyone who identified as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained. It's still vague.
That's pretty clear, Your Honor. The jury deserves to know this
Mr.
information.
Brooks, the objection has been sustained. Next question, please.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Briefly. Sir, on cross-examination, you had testified that you did not see any brake lights. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Ground.
Relevancy.
Overruled.
Sorry, correct, yes.
Okay. You testified further on cross-examination that you observed the red SUV strike an individual to your left. Is that correct?
Objection. He also stated that he was focused on his children and not focused on.
That's an argumentative statement. What's the legal basis for your objection, Mr. Brooks?
That is hearsay.
Overruled.
I did not see the individual to my left get hit. I just saw her on the ground, or the victim on the ground.
After you saw her on the ground, did the red SUV stop?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
I did not see the red SUV from that duration of the parade. I didn't see the red SUV until the vehicle had already passed that position and came around the other large SUV. So I can't speak to what happened back there.
Was there anything that you could see in the roadway that would have prevented that red SUV from stopping before it started veering towards your group?
Objection. Hearsay. Stated he didn't see.
The
couldn't see
objection to
above that.
hearsay is noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Certainly. Did you see anything in front of you that would have prevented the red SUV from stopping as it passed that car that obstructed your view initially?
Objection. Irrelevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
Nothing that I saw would have stopped him. That wouldn't have allowed him to stop.
And after he impacted your group that was watching the parade and it continued on towards the dancing grannies, was there anything that you could see that would have stopped the red SUV?
Objection. Who is the he you're referring to?
I don't understand the objection. Were you done asking your question?
I was.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't consent to being called he. We don't even know the he that's being referred to.
Overruled.
The witness didn't identify a he.
Overruled.
Still appearing by a third party for my client in this matter as a living human being. Also would like for the record to address subject matter jurisdiction again, Your Honor, if you would like to answer that now.
No, I would not. And will not.
Is that a judiciary determination?
The record stands. I've previously addressed that issue.
So you would not be answering that.
All right, the record should reflect the jury is coming in.
Is that a tacit agreement again, Your Honor?
I'm not answering that.
So is that a yes or no? I'll take that as a yes for the record, Your Honor.
That's not either, sir. I'm not
You
answering
didn't
that.
reply. Remember, non-response is consent.
Were you at the Christmas parade held on Main Street in the city of Waukesha?
I was.
Who were you there with?
I was there with my 3 children.
How old are they?
At the time, they would have been 7, 5, and not quite 2. Maybe like over here. And my kids, my 2 older kids, would have. They were in the street, right about there.
Did anyone raise a concern about where they were standing at some point during the parade?
There was concern about it. A police officer had come by and actually moved all the kids back a little bit. And there was another mom there, and her daughter was near my kids. And she had actually said to me, gosh, they're out a little bit far. And I said, everything's going so slow, they're not going to get hit. They'll be fine.
So at some point during the parade, was your attention diverted from what was the floats and the participants and the spectators to something else? Was your attention drawn away?
An SUV came down the road and into the crowd, just right in front of me where my son got hit. It was coming from this way. It was just kind of like, and then it just kind of went in this way and ended up right about there. My middle son, Owen, was struck by the SUV.
And Owen is 7?
He was 5 at the time, he's 6 now. I dropped my youngest and my oldest off at home, and then I quickly took Owen to Waukesha Memorial.
Nothing further. Oh, sorry. Nope. We'd ask that a screenshot be taken of State's Exhibit 51. I believe that would be 51A.
Objection.
And we'd ask that it be admitted into evidence.
Objection.
Overruled.
My objection was to clarification on whether she was done or not.
I believe it is 51A. It is also captured and to use that one in to evidence.
And the state would have no other questions for this witness. Thank you.
All right. Any questions, sir?
Yes. You stated a few minutes ago that at one point before the vehicle came through that you were having a conversation to the effect of things were going slow, they're not going to get hit.
I never said I was having a conversation.
Well, let me back up. Who were you talking to when you said everything's going slow, pretty slow, they're not going to get hit?
Another mom.
So would it be fair to say that's a conversation?
Yes.
Why did you make reference to getting hit at that point?
Because I didn't expect my kid to get hit at a parade.
So you had already made the determination that they were going to get hit at a parade at that point?
Objection.
Grounds.
Argumentative, sustained. You do not have to answer that question.
Why would getting hit be in your head at that point?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer the question.
I wasn't concerned about my children being hit at a parade because typically at a parade floats are going very slow.
still doesn't quite answer the question, because the statement was things are going pretty slow, they won't get hit. What prompted the statement they won't get hit at that point?
Another mom was concerned about how much into the street the kids were waiting for candy.
So it'd be fair to say that the initial concern was from another parent
Correct.
and not yourself.
I wasn't worried about my kids getting hit at a parade, as I shouldn't have been.
You stated also that you dropped your other kids off before seeking medical attention. Would that be fair to say?
I said that.
Any reason why you didn't seek medical attention immediately?
I did seek medical attention immediately.
You also just stated that you dropped your other kids off. And
My house
then-
is on the way to the hospital, so I dropped 2 of my children off so they wouldn't have to sit at the hospital.
So your intention at that point was to seek medical attention.
I sought medical attention.
Was
Yes.
that your intent?
That's what I did.
Was it your intent?
Objection, argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained. Asked and answered.
Before you were able to see the vehicle that struck your son, or was it your son?
Yes.
Before you saw the vehicle, did you observe anyone else struck before that moment?
No.
After that moment?
No.
Do you recall how long you were treated at the hospital?
I don't know. We were there for a while waiting. The waiting room was full of people that were hurt.
Were you ever told at any point during your waiting process that you probably could have went to another medical facility?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
You recall giving a statement to law enforcement?
Yes.
Do you recall if it was the same night of the incident?
I gave a report the night of the incident at the hospital.
And did you follow up on that report at any time?
No, I didn't.
Any reason why?
Why would I follow up?
Well, it would be fair to say, would it not, that after making a report to law enforcement, you would want to follow up maybe to see what's going to be done about the report. Would that be fair to say?
I knew that the police were going to do their jobs, so I didn't have a reason to follow up. They contacted me when they needed to contact me.
So it'd be fair to say you just gave the report and then just left the rest up to law enforcement.
Sure.
Did you file any claims related to this matter?
No.
Ever read or saw a complaint in this matter?
No.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Whom were you contacted by in regards to possibly testifying in this matter?
I don't know. Probably the DA's office. I don't know.
Were you subpoenaed?
I was subpoenaed to be here.
Do you recall who that subpoena was from?
I don't know.
So it would be fair to say that you received a subpoena and never read who it was from. Would that be fair to say?
From the state of Wisconsin.
When you say the state of Wisconsin, who are you referring to?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Not relevant.
Will you consider yourself an injured party in this matter?
I was not physically injured myself.
Have you filed a claim in this matter in any way?
Asked and answered.
Sustained.
Would you consider yourself to be the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Not relevant. Also under 90611.
Are you aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained on relevance grounds.
Ever had a conversation with the plaintiff at any time in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question. You may rephrase it if you would like. Some more specificity.
Have you ever had any phone conversations or personal interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, vague.
Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of a question. You may rephrase it if you so choose with more specificity so that it's not vague.
Are you aware of the identity of the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Not relevant.
Grounds.
It's not relevant. Sustained.
Are you aware if there is a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained
Grounds for the sustain.
on relevance grounds. Also under 906.11.
With all respect, Your Honor, the jury deserves to know this information. We're withholding important information from the jury. They deserve to know this.
The jury will disregard the statement made by Mr. Brooks as not being an accurate statement of the law. Next question.
So to the best of your knowledge, you're not aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, please move on to another topic under 906.11. You are hereby advised that if you do not move on to a new topic, I will close the cross-examination.
With all due respect, Your Honor, this is important information the jury deserves to know.
Mr. Brooks, ask a relevant question, please.
That holds a lot of relevance, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, one last opportunity to ask a question. Otherwise, the court will declare the cross-examination closed under 906.11.
I can direct your attention to November 21st of 2021. Were you at the Waukesha Christmas parade on that date?
I was.
Who were you with?
I was with my family, my wife, and 3 children, as well as 3 other families. There was a group of 19 of us.
And by chance, were you with Ben Harris?
Yes.
And Matt have his...
Hold on, overruled.
Sorry.
The question and answer will stand.
Sir, how old are you kids?
My kids at the time of the parade were 11, 7, and 3.
How old is Kelsey?
Kelsey at the time of the incident was 3. Today she's 4.
Okay.
All of a sudden, a car, red SUV, pulled around that float and headed directly in our direction.
When you state that this red SUV was coming at your group, can you, and I don't know if you can you show the direction of travel using this exhibit?
Overruled.
Based on my recollection, was coming here and again right at our location.
It is captured. We'll save it as 51B.
I'd also ask...
I'm sorry, was there an objection?
Yes.
The basis for the objection?
Relevancy.
It is relevant. 51B has been captured, and I believe you had a statement about it.
Yes, I'd ask that be moved into evidence.
It is received. 51B.
The objection be noted for the record, Your Honor.
It already has been.
At the time of when that vehicle was coming towards our group, myself in particular, my concern after looking at this vehicle was realizing that he was heading directly for our children, getting to the end of our group, which again, Kelsey was furthest on the west, and right next to Kelsey would have been a family friend, Brinley Harris, and I saw the vehicle strike my daughter. My daughter flew approximately 15 feet towards the middle of the intersection of Clinton and Main.
You said Kelsey flew approximately 15 feet into Clinton Street?
In estimation,
Your objection is noted.
Already answered.
What was the objection?
That was already answered.
That's not my recollection, so it's overruled. I believe she was seeking clarification or additional details.
Can that be clarified in the question?
No, go ahead and ask your question, Attorney Basie. Your objection's noted, it's overruled.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Go ahead, Attorney Basie.
Were you able to see inside the vehicle?
I was.
How many people were inside that vehicle?
I could only see one person in the vehicle.
Could you tell male or female?
Yes, it was a black male, and at the time, the eyes is what drew me in. Were completely wide open, and made eye contact with the individual driving the vehicle.
So you looked eye to eye with the person who hit your daughter.
I did.
Did you see him in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out by where he's seated and what he's wearing?
He is
And
seated
I ask
in.
that Mr. Brooks take off his face mask.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
He is seated at the table, located over here. He's got a gray suit on, a blue shirt, and a tie.
Let the record reflect that witness has identified the defendant, Darrell Brooks.
Objection, I do not consent to being called that name, nor do I know any individual by that name, Your Honor.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the driver of the SUV that struck his daughter.
May my objection be noted for the record as well, Your Honor.
It's noted.
Do you appear to be in control of the car?
Yes.
Did the vehicle stop after hitting your daughter?
The vehicle did not stop after hitting my daughter.
So you indicate that you were friends with Matt Harris and his family?
Objection, relevancy
Overruled.
to this particular witness.
Overruled. It goes to context and
Grounds.
background.
Grounds for that.
Context and background. It's also relevant. Go ahead, you may answer.
That's correct. We are.
And you say that Brindley was standing near Kelsey when Kelsey got hit?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Brindley was standing directly to Kelsey's left, to her east.
And did you see Brindley after November 21st?
Yes, I've seen Brindley after November 21st.
Shortly after November 21st of last year?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Yes.
Did she have any type of medical dressing on her at that time?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Grounds for that.
It's
Overruled.
relevant.
Yes, she had a full cast on.
You may claim that you locked eyes with the driver of the vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
That is correct.
And approximately how far was the vehicle from you when you supposedly locked eyes?
I would estimate it 20 feet.
Would it be fair to say that that's about as far as I am from you now? Or was the vehicle further than where I am now from you?
I would state that it was probably a little bit closer.
And what do you mean by a little bit closer?
I would say perhaps halfway, maybe three-quarters of the way between where you're seated right now and where I'm seated right now.
What would be 3/4 of the way? Can you like point about where?
Again, I estimated it at about 20 feet.
Would it be fair to say that halfway between you and I would not be an accurate statement of 20 feet?
Objection.
Grounds.
Overruled. He may answer the question.
That's why I stated it was about 3/4 of the way.
So about what spot would it be? By this black? I guess I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a door.
Electrical box.
Excuse me. What is that?
It's an electrical box.
Would it be by this electrical box? Would it be this square directly next to the electrical box? I mean, what would you say would be 3/4 of the way?
So the electrical box would be a good estimation of the distance. However, it was a little further to my left than where the electrical box was because it was coming at us at more of
So it would be a little further this way, coming back towards the table here.
Your Honor, I just ask that the defendant allow the witness to answer the question before he asks the next question.
I agree.
So you would estimate that it was in relation to where the electrical box is, probably approximately around like this general area right here?
To my direction, probably a little bit to the left of there.
Just so the record is clear, Mr. Brooks is standing up at his table. He's pointing what would be pretty much directly in front of him, but to my left of the electrical box.
For the record, I'm a third party, Your Honor. Like that stated for the record, I don't identify by that name or consent to being called that name, Your Honor.
Your lack of consent is noted. Next question, please.
Your Honor, just for the record, I don't think some of the jurors in the back can see the black electrical box.
Sure. Why don't we have our
just
jurors stand for a moment so that we can be clear that they're seeing that. Thank you. All right. So the record should reflect that the jurors are all standing to take a look at where the electrical box is and, of course, the squares of carpet next to that.
You would say from that general distance, you were able to clearly lock eyes with a vehicle that was passing you at a speed that you say was too fast?
As I stated before, the vehicle was not necessarily passing me, it was coming straight at me. And yes, I was able to lock eyes.
And do you recall if the vehicle had any tint?
I do not recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows. I assume, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, tint, yes.
I do not recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows.
And were you able to see if there were any occupants in the vehicle other than the driver?
I only saw one occupant in the vehicle.
Did you get a license plates of the vehicle?
I did not get a license plate to the vehicle.
Do you recall what the driver was wearing?
I do not recall what the driver was wearing.
So it would be fair to say that all you looked at was the eyes then, and not the entire face.
I saw the face of the occupant, the driver of the vehicle. I did not see pants or make out any shirt or jacket or any other markings.
I didn't ask about pants, but
The witness answered your question. Next question, sir.
I would like to get to it, Your Honor. Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone while it was coming towards you?
I did not.
After it had passed you?
Yes, I observed the vehicle striking my 3-year-old daughter, Kelsey.
After that point?
I did not.
You stated that when the vehicle was coming towards you, it turned away. It was turning away.
Yes, as the vehicle was coming directly towards our group, it did make a turn.
From your observation, why do you think the vehicle would have been turning away from you?
Objection.
Grounds.
Calls for speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Calls for speculation.
Were you injured in any way?
I was not physically injured.
And
Mr.
you...
Brooks, sorry to interrupt. How much longer do you have? The only
I've-
reason I ask is there's some weather coming in, and I've had some alerts, and I want to make sure everyone gets to a safe location. There's a tornado warning, not for us just yet, but so I'll let you finish, but I may be interrupting if another alert comes in. Are they going on? All right, we're gonna take our lunch early then, and all rise for the jury. Sorry for the interruption, Mr. Brooks.
What? Finish my question.
You will. My thoughts are as follows: is to have Mr. Knapp come back in. I presume he's available, and finish his cross-examination. And then, frankly, given the severity of the weather that went through, including near my house, and I need to check on my house, is to break for the day and resume tomorrow morning. So that's my plan, as is my practice, though I will give the parties an opportunity to indicate whether they think differently, but that's what I'd like to do from the state.
You know, we obviously have a full slate of witnesses here to go this afternoon. Some have traveled from like the Cudahy area or, you know, some distance, not unavoidable, but my only other suggestion would be to maybe, you know, take an extended break and let people make calls or even go home and check and come back at 3 o'clock or something. If that's a possibility, we could still work for a couple hours yet this afternoon. But whatever the court thinks is best, we certainly will be prepared either way.
I certainly would be open to maybe an extended break so that I and others could do exactly what you just say. But I'll hear from you, sir, if you have any position on that.
Yeah, I do have a position on that. I agree with your first assessment, Your Honor. Severity and weather, that can sometimes mess with equipment being the trial being televised. That can possibly interrupt that. And you never know. Some people that may be key to this matter may not be able to come back after an extended break. There's no way to tell at this point. I do believe it would, on the air, just for cautionary reasons, would be wise to kind of break for the day and then reset tomorrow morning or whenever the court feels it's best. I want to state really quick for the record, Your Honor, I'm still, I guess I would say, waiting to obtain a filing that I addressed before we went on record.
I don't know what that means, sir, but I need to bring the jurors out. I need to finish with the cross-examination portion of Mr. Knapp's testimony.
Still no addressing of the subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, my previous record on that issue stands. I will not further be addressing it without a proper motion for reconsideration that complies with the statutes.
I just wanted to state that for the record.
So noted.
I'd like to apologize to the court. I'm not sure where I left off at. Did you recall any law enforcement being present at the Clinton Street side crossing, I guess?
Yes, there was a law enforcement officer on the south side of the street, and as I mentioned before, he helped save a lot of lives by pushing our children back.
Appreciate the extra commentary. Do you recall describing the driver as an African American male with long hair and facial hair?
I remember describing the driver of the vehicle that I made eye contact with as a black male with facial hair. I don't necessarily recall stating long hair.
I have the summary right here of the interview that you gave with law enforcement. And reading from that summary.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Again, for the same reason I objected before. This is in a statement or a supplement by Detective Jeff Adent, A-D-E-N-T, from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, in which he met up with this witness. This witness provided information to the detective.
I understand. I don't need the full
explanation.
I'll just sustain the objection as to the form of the question.
Would the reference to the statement that I referred to about the long hair, if I was able to show you, would it bring any recollection of what you may have said during that interview?
No, if I stated it at that time, then that was my recollection at that time. 11 months later, my recollection of the statement is that I made eye contact.
I'm not referring to that statement. I'm referring to the statement that reads David, or yes, or wait, let me back up. Were there some confusion with your name in this report?
Not that I'm aware of.
It looks like the officer that was taking the report got a little confused on the name.
Mr. Brooks, you're providing a narrative, so that's not a question. He doesn't have the report in front of him, so please make sure you ask the question.
Do you recall reading from the summary, describing the driver as an African-American male with long hair?
If I stated that at the time, that was my recollection at the time. As I sit here today, I cannot state that I recall having seen long hair.
Would it be fair to say that what I'm reading from is accurate statements made by you to the law enforcement officer?
Objection. For the
Grounds.
same reason I mentioned.
There's a lack of foundation as to the question, so I'll sustain it, and if you are able to rephrase, please.
Can I show the witness his statements?
Not
Maybe
at this
that may bring some recollection back of what was said in the interview.
I'll allow it. If you would give the statement to the bailiff, who can then give it to the state.
Again, I'm going to object. If he's using it to refresh recollection, that's fine, but this witness says it does not refresh his recollection. I'm objecting to any questions after
I
that.
understand.
Okay.
All right.
I object to that because
Hold on. Let's show. You've asked that it be shown to the witness. It will be shown to the witness. Is there a particular paragraph you want to direct his attention to, Mr. Brooks?
the paragraph that I referred to when he stated that the driver was an African American male with long hair.
All right. So, sir, just take a moment to review that. When you're done reviewing it, turn it over, and then Mr. Brooks will ask you some follow-up questions.
For the record, I don't consent to being called that name, Your Honor. For the record, I'm third party to the matter, Your Honor. From reading that summary of the interview that you gave with law enforcement, do you recall stating that the driver was an African American male with long hair?
I don't recall stating long hair, but
Would it be fair to say that the summary that is in front of you states that that's what you said?
It would be hearsay.
Grounds. I'm stating directly what it says on the paperwork.
It's still hearsay, Mr. Brooks. So the objection is sustained. Next question.
Is it fair to say that that's what
That's hearsay. So,
it's hearsay when it's right there for him to read?
Mr. Brooks, I direct your attention to the hearsay statute, all right, for a definition in 908.01 and the rule in 908.02.
So it's not a fair.
Sustained. Next question.
Do you recall if the driver had hair? Any hair whatsoever?
I recall seeing facial hair.
Any hair on their head?
I don't recall at the moment as we sit today picturing exactly that if I saw hair or if I didn't.
Any reason why you wouldn't be able to see the driver's head?
My eyes were locked on a vehicle that was driving at a high rate of speed with the person driving the vehicle's eyes extremely wide. And then at that moment, my full attention went to my children where that vehicle was driving at a very high rate of speed.
So it would be fair to say that because you keep making reference to the eyes, so would it be fair to say then that because you were so fixated on the eyes that it would be hard to tell any other features of the driver?
I'm stating what I saw: wide eyes, black male, facial hair.
Would it being so fixated on the eyes, would that in any way make it hard for you to see any other facial description?
I'm not sure your definition of hard. I'm stating what I saw.
Do you recall if there was anything on the driver's head, a hat or anything of that nature?
I don't recall.
You stated that it was a African American male. Do you recall a skin complexion?
I do.
Was it a dark skin complexion?
It was.
Would it be fair to say that who you identified today does not have a dark complexion?
I guess it depends upon the definition of dark.
What is your definition of dark? Because in all fairness, you said dark skin. So what would be your definition of dark skin?
Dark skin as present on my interaction with black males in the past.
So every black male that you've had an interaction with was dark skinned?
Again, it depends. There's different complexions of dark, and it depends upon what complexion or what your definition of dark is.
I'm asking your definition because you said dark skin.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this line of questioning.
On
The
what
point
grounds?
has been made. This witness identified the defendant, Darrell Brooks, as a person driving the car. I think he's asked the question about dark skin. I think that this has been asked and answered.
Objection.
I'm going to sustain the objection as to the form of the question. I believe the way it's asked is argumentative. You may rephrase if you so choose.
May my objection be noted that I do not identify by that name, nor do I know anybody by that name. I don't consent to being called that name.
Noted. Next question, please.
Have you ever had any other interactions with any black males that were not considered dark-skinned by your definition?
I don't understand your question.
Have you had any previous interactions with African Americans that were not dark-skinned?
Objection to relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled. It relates to his identification. He may answer.
As stated before, my interactions with black males before, there are different levels of complexion and color tones, darker versus lighter. And I have interacted with black males before that have been both lighter and darker skin tones, yes.
Would it be fair to say that you didn't give that clarification when asked before?
I don't understand your question.
Would it be fair to say that you did not give that clarification when asked the same question before?
What clarification are you referring to?
You strictly said the skin tone. You came to the conclusion that it was dark skin based on your interactions with African American males before. Would it be fair to say that that's what you testified to?
That I can identify the skin tone color is what I stated, and the person that was driving the vehicle had a darker skin tone.
May I have that paperback that he has?
Margaret to reflect the one page of the police report and then hand it back to the defendant.
And just for clarification for the record, you did not see the vehicle strike anyone once it was past your location.
When it passed me, I saw the vehicle strike my daughter.
The location where you were at, you made reference to being near that intersection corner, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. So
once it was past that location is what I'm referring to.
Right. So after the vehicle struck my daughter and then past that location, I ran to my daughter as stated, and I did not see, other than the vehicle swerve back towards Main Street, the vehicle strike another human being.
So you did not see it, just for clarification, because that was a lot of commentary. For
That is
clarification, for the record, you did not see it strike anyone else once it was past that location where you and your family were.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have made a determination that today we are going to break early, just given all of the weather issues that happened earlier today.